Hi, how are you tonight? I'm Roberta Colasino, and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator here in the Finger Lakes region of upstate New York. I'm a little bit closer than usual because I wanted the camera to be closer when I turn it down, not because I really wanted it to be closer to me. I posted today. I'm not going to be creating anything today. I may show you a couple of things, but basically I'm here tonight because we have a promotion going on that I wanted to make you aware of. And if anyone's interested in the promotion and they're interested in making some purchases, then it might be a good time to take a look at what's on the last chance list that can really save you some money if there's something you've had your eye on. So that's what I'm going to do. It may take a while. I'll try to move it along, but that's the plan for tonight. You can catch the video on the replay, and I will upload it to YouTube tonight as well. So I just wanted to let you know, for anybody that's watching that hasn't been watching before, I have, hi Nancy, how are you? I've had to start moving all of my videos from Facebook over to YouTube because Facebook has a new policy where they're no longer storing YouTube live videos. So that came as quite a shock, and I've been doing videos, I believe, since 2018. So that's a lot of videos, and I'm only up to June 2024 so far. So it's pretty time consuming, so that's what I'm doing, but now you can catch my videos there. At this point, they're not in any particular order. I'm trying to put them in some semblance of playlists and things like that. So if you go to find something, you're just going to have to kind of look at the titles, and I don't even have all of them done yet, but I'm working at it. But so far, if I post this tonight, it will be here for 30 days. That's the new rule. A video is saved for 30 days. So I'm not waiting 30 days. I'm posting them, and I'm trying to upload at least 10 videos a day to YouTube, which is probably about 3 hours worth of work. So anyway, just wanted to fill you in on what's going on there. Let me put the camera down and we will get started. Probably going to have to do a little adjusting because I changed my, what's the word I'm looking for? My tripod. I lowered my tripod so that things would be a little bit closer. However, it looks like some things I may have to worry about them not being in focus, although I think everything I'm showing you tonight is smaller than this piece of paper, so we should be good. The other issue is that my computer, I hate to say it, but it's possible that my computer died today. It won't start up. I mean, it starts up and it just makes a noise like it's trying to do something and nothing's happening. So I'm using my iPad, and I'm praying that whatever's going on with my computer is temporary, because I just don't think I could take it if I had to buy a new computer. All right, so here we go. So as I said, I'm Roberta Colasino. The name of this group is 11 Lakes Stamper Creatives. It's a public group. Anyone's welcome to join. And I'm now at YouTube under the same name, 11 Lakes Stamper, which is my business name. And I come to you live every Wednesday night, typically with a free paper crafting live video. And you can learn to make cards, home decor, scrapbook layouts, and more. If you're interested in shopping tonight, this is where you shop, at this address. And if you need to reach out to me, other than sending a message or even a private message in Facebook, you can email me at 11lakesstamper@gmail.com. All right, I'll give you just a second to look at that in case you want to take a screenshot or whatever. Okay. So the special, which we just found out about the other day, is that from June 30th, or June 3rd through June 30th, you will be able to get 50% off on all sweets and sweet products. Now that wording, I have to say, I take it back. It's 50%, buy one, get one 50% off. I knew I was saying that wrong. Buy one, get one half off. Sweets and sweet products confuses me a little bit because when you buy a sweet, it includes all of the products. So I don't think they mean anything else by that other than that, if that makes any sense, because they don't, if you buy a sweet, that means you're getting everything. And if you've been watching me for a while, you've heard me talk about that. Sorry, my camera's slipping again. I don't know why. Let's see if I can move it back a little bit so that it's a little bit more, I don't even know what the word is I'm looking for. Okay, Do I want to move it back, or is that going to get me... Oopsie. Okay. It's flopping a little bit, which bothers me, makes me nervous. Okay. So this is a pretty big savings. Now, suites typically are a stamp set and a die or a punch and possibly an embellishment and or a ribbon and designer series paper. Sometimes a suite is what we call a mega suite, and it consists of 2 bundles. So it'll have one stamp set that maybe comes with dies, another stamp set that comes with dies or a punch, and the designer series paper and the ribbon and some embellishments and so on. So if you're going to buy a suite, that's one of the mega suites, which is typically well over $100, not always, but most of the time. You would have to buy the entire suite to get the discount. And as usual, if you don't want the suite, then you just buy the bundle and you save 10%. But the reason I'm coming to you tonight with the video that I'm coming to you with is because it seems that if anyone's going to get excited about getting 2 for, not 2 for 1, but buy one, get one half off on the suites, they might want to stock up or pick up some other things that they've had their eye on. So I took a really good look at my craft room today. I organized some things, I moved some things, and I started to question what I thought was retired versus what wasn't retired. And so I sat with my computer and kind of figured it all out and made some notes and found out that a lot of the things that are on Last Chance are still available. Typically by now they're gone, or most of them are gone, but that doesn't seem to be the case right now for whatever reason. So we'll start off with these 2 items. All right, these are the metallic enamel effects and the pearlized enamel effects. All right, and they are on the Last Chance list. And interestingly, the metallic enamel effects have been reduced from $15 to $7.50. The pearlized enamel effects have been reduced from $15 to $10.50. They obviously have some kind of a formula for why they do that. I am not in on that. I don't know what that is. So I was playing today, but unfortunately I got a little klutzy. So yes, actually I was kind of embarrassed, even though I was the only one in the room. So what these can do, they can do a number of things, but one of the things that they can do is to create an enamel dot for you. So I did these probably this morning, and they're definitely 100% dry already. The red one, I've had these for a couple of years, and I had a little hard time getting them out of the getting it out of the bottle. I was having a little shaky hand thing, and then I dropped one of the bottles into these, which totally obliterated this one and flattened those out. But the so the metallic is bronze, gold, and silver, and the pearlized enamel is white, black, and real red. So I've got this on my silicone sheet to show you that even without something like my Take Your Pick tool, which is good because I don't know where it is, I can just lift that off because nothing sticks to that. And now I have an embellishment that I can actually use on a card without necessarily buying a package of embellishments. So that's why those are pretty darn cool, okay? I wanted to show you that. The other thing that I saw another demonstrator do quite a while ago, and I'm not sure if I'm getting this right, but she had a card front and she had a blending brush. Now she had one that was perfectly clean, like a brand new one, and she was only using it for this purpose. I don't have a brand new one, and I didn't think to wash these. So you're going to get some color, which I think is okay. So what she did, if I'm remembering this correctly, was she put some of this, the white, on her paper. And then she took the blending brush, and actually the fact that some pink is going on it, I think is just fine. And what happens now, and boy, it's hard to see, but what happens now is that you're getting a shiny effect. You're getting some pearl coloring. All right, now that I'm doing this, this brush will absolutely have to be washed before I would use it on an ink pad. So I hope you can see that. So it's not as glimmery as, let's say, the Wink of Stella, but it just has a little sheen, and I'm sure there's like a nicer way to do this, and I'll have to see if I can remember who that was and rewatch her video and see how she did it. But it's kind of cool. So aside from making dots with them, you could do other things with them. I also thought if you had a really steady hand, like if you're a baker who does a lot of frosting of things or writing, with frosting and a tip, you could possibly write an embellishment with these and let it harden. You could even then lift it off and, lift it off the silicone sheet and put it onto something else. That's just a thought. So I'm just letting you know that these are reduced, although not equally, and I don't know why. So the pearlized enamel effects are reduced from $15 to $10.50, and the metallic are reduced from $15 to $7.50. All right, so that's a pretty good deal. The other thing that is on Last Chance, and I don't have all of them anymore, but are every year, even though the colors don't always change except for the in colors, they come out with new color family and in color designer series paper in a 6x6. And every year it's got a slightly different design. So this was last year's, and there are new ones out. So this is last year's Regals, and they're reduced to $8.75, and normally they're the same price as regular DSP. I thought I'd written the original price on these, but I don't think, oh yeah. So normally they're $12.50, okay? This is something different, but they'd be $12.50. So it's reduced to $8.75. Now this one, that's the Regals. Those are the, that's the Blueberry Bushel and the Cajun Craze, the Cherry Cobbler, all those kind of really deep colors. And now this is the Brights, and the Brights are only reduced to $10. Again, I don't know the rhyme or reason behind that. This is the Subtles, and they're reduced to $10. So, and they're also the last year's In Colors, which I don't have, and there are the Neutrals, which I think is the other one that's missing is the Neutrals. I feel like there might be one more. Subtles, Brights, Regals, Neutrals, and then maybe the In Color. So maybe that is all there is. I don't know. And this one was Bright and Beautiful, and I thought that retired a long time ago. I don't know where my head was, but I thought this had retired a long time ago. This is the one that came with the stamp set that had the balloons and the fringed edge. It was all about partying and whatnot. So this has been reduced from $12.50 to $7.50, and this paper, I really don't want to take the time to show you everything, but this paper is really good for children's birthday parties or children's birthday cards, but I would think it's good for anybody. I mean, it makes happy cards. So you've got stars, and then you've got like an ombre thing going on, and you've got bubbles and big bubbles and little bubbles and different, whatever that is, like a what do you call that, kind of a chevron thing. So it's really pretty paper, and it's a lot of fun. And I had it tucked away someplace with retired stuff, and then I looked online, and there it was on the Last Chance list. So who knew, right? Apparently I was not paying attention. All right, now in some cases, like this one right here, this was a bundle. And this came with the stamp set layering leaves and then the bow punch, all right, which would cut out these shapes and these. So this, unfortunately, has sold out, the stamp set, but the bow punch is still available for $24, and that's not a reduction. So I'm not sure why it's not a reduction, but it's not. The reason I recommend any type of a leafy punch that you can get is even if you don't have the stamp set to cut them out, you can cut them out of DSP, which would give you like a different kind of effect. So just as an example, if you didn't want to just cut out a sheet of, let's say, cardstock, which you might think was kind of boring to cut out just a sheet of cardstock, you could cut these out from a sheet of designer series paper, or maybe one that's even like more heavily patterned than this one, just as an example. All right. So now you're getting something that looks a little bit more natural. You're not just getting one solid color. The other thing that you can do is to create a background, and you've seen me do that before. You can create it with watercolor. You can create a background with the blending brushes. You can create a background even with paints or with using your re-inkers as a watercolor, that type of thing. So I always recommend that you have this because they're great for backgrounds. So that's why I'm letting you know that this is on Last Chance, but no, it is not reduced. For whatever reason, it's not reduced. Now this is the Autumn Leaves, and this is interesting. So I can't find my dies. I know they're here somewhere, but I can't find them. But it was in a bundle with some beautiful dies. The stamps are absolutely gorgeous, all right? However, so the stamp set alone was $24. It's been reduced to $12, so cut in half. The dies were $38 because they're pretty intricate and dies can get pricey. They're reduced to $15.50. So right now, if you get this bundle, it's all right. I've got to back myself up. So, if let's say on the Last Chance list, this was on sale as a bundle, it would be not on sale. It would cost $62 if it was still available as a bundle. You don't want to buy the bundle. In almost every case where there's a bundle on the last chance list where things are reduced, you do not want to buy the bundle because the bundle would cost $62. Right now, you could get the bundle, but not the bundle. You could get the stamps and the dies separately, separate numbers and everything, for $27.50. That's an amazing price for this particular, I keep calling it a bundle because I don't know what else to call it, but for this stamp set and these dies. All right, and the dies cut out everything that you see here, and I think there's even a couple of labels, but I can't remember, and I don't know where they are, so I can't help you much with that, but that is an amazing price. Okay, Countryside Corner dies. Those came with a stamp set that made shapes like this, and then you could cut them out. That is long gone. It sold out, I think, last year. But these are still kicking around. They did carry over because people like them even without the stamp set because they make great label dies and great background dies. That's a good reason to have them. And if you see that there's tape on here, at one point I was taping them together and then cutting out all the stamps at once to save a little time. So this was reduced from $28 to $19.60, and it's on last chance, but it is still available. So that's another one I really wanted to mention to you. Great label dies, great background dies, great dies for even making little pouches and things like that. All right, Adoring Hearts. This was, I think, last year's Valentine's set. And what's really cool about the Adoring Hearts bundle, again, it came as a bundle, was that it came with not just an embossing folder, but a hybrid embossing folder. So the embossing folder cut out all of these 9 hearts as little individual hearts, okay? So right now, this is gone, and apparently the dies are gone, and all that's left of it that hasn't retired or hasn't been sold out is, no wait, I take it back. I lied. The hybrid embossing folder is available, reduced from $39 to $35.10. I was thinking of a different set. And the stamp set reduced from $20 to $12. And honestly, if you didn't see the embossing folder, the hybrid embossing folder, and know that that existed, this is a really beautiful stamp set to have. And this almost creates a frame around some of like a sentiment like I adore you, or something you might have from another stamp set. So I wanted to make sure that you saw this, because that's a really good deal, and that could be kind of a forever Valentine's set for you. All right, so Adoring Hearts. Beach Day. So the stamp set has sold out. The dies are still available, and they've been reduced from $34 to $27.20. I have to say honestly that I'm not sure. There's a lot of die sets that we have that you can do wonderful things with without the matching stamp set. In this case, I'm not quite so sure. You could certainly do the trees. You could do some greenery with the trees. You could certainly use these as border dies or in an ocean type of setting. You've got this little fence here that you could cut out and use that in something. And you've got the seashells you could use. You've got the grass. So I'm not saying there's nothing you can do with it. It's just not quite as exciting to have just these dies without the stamp set. But I'm bringing it to your attention anyway. Another one that I had put in my retired pile, and it's not, it will be soon, but it isn't yet. This was from this winter. In my videos, you can see me making some cards with this. And it's called the Painted Trees 3D Embossing Folder, and it's reduced from $11 to $9.90. So the reason that this is a good one to have is even if you do no coloring with it whatsoever, this just makes a great background for some type of a scenic card. But you can color them. You could take your blending brushes and you could brush color into them and then run paper through it, and then you would have green trees. You could run several different colors with the blending brushes or different shades of green to make them really realistic looking. And I think for $9.90, that's a pretty good deal. So just something to think about. The Cane Weave embossing folder is about to be retired. I marked it retired so that I would stop using it, but it is on last chance. Really nice, just general, looks like a caned chair, and it's reduced from $10 to $7, and it's a great background, absolutely great background. So I would highly recommend that one. Then we have the Dashing Designs 3D folder. It's still available, reduced to $9. Another great background. Okay, so now, what have we got here? There we go. All right, two separate things. So I don't remember how many years ago this first came out, and it carried over to the 24-25 catalog, the past catalog that just retired. And it comes with, the bundle came with all of these dies. This one is amazing because while it doesn't cut out anything here, it gives you almost a frame for, let's say, having the deer nighttime silhouette in there, or just for a totally different card that has nothing to do with the deer or anything else, that just uses this as kind of a background, and even a sentiment could go in there. All right, it's a really kind of a special die set. You've got a couple of deer, you've got like daddy and mama and baby bear, and you've got some trees and some greenery. So it's a really neat set altogether. And this one is kind of like a, what am I trying to say? It cuts out this, so it cuts out your shrubbery. That's what I was trying to say. All right, and the stamp set, okay, went away. So I probably should have opened with that, huh? The stamp set is no longer available. I'm pretty sure. Let me make sure I know what I'm talking about. Yep, stamp set is gone, and it's just the dies right now, and the dies have been reduced to $24.80. I know that's hard to read because it's in red. So they've been reduced to $24.80, and these were probably $35 or possibly even close to $40 dies because of how intricate they are. So they could be used for a lot of things, I think, without having the stamp set. They really could. And that's just the envelope that the dies originally came in. Okay, this is the Thoughtful Wishes stamp set. This is another one. The stamp set is sold out. The stamp set is gone. But the dies, I think, are really good. So the dies that were made to cut out one of these are going to be kind of weird without anything to cut out. But this one and this one and the leaves and this one and this one, they don't need, and this one and this one, they don't need any stamp set at all to make them work. And you could do the same thing. You could use cardstock, you could use blending brushes, you could use DSP, and these would be great dies to have. They're reduced to $33, which means they were probably considerably more than that at one time, and I don't, for some reason, I didn't write that down. But I think a $33 reduction is pretty good. My guess would be they were $39 or $40, just based on the fact that they're pretty intricate. I'm going to switch gears and move on to some ribbon and point something out to you. So this is called it was in the holiday catalog this year, or the September to January mini catalog. It's shaded spruce, and it is a satin and sheer ribbon, reduced from $8.50 to $6.80. Do you notice the plastic on there? Have you ever done this? I've never even used it. Never used it. And I will. I'll use it one way or another for something, because that's just crazy, and I'm quite annoyed at myself because I never used it. This one, I think, was also from this year's Holiday 2024, carried over to 25, I think, as an online only, and now it's on the last chance list for $8, and this is a satin band ribbon, and it is cherry cobbler, and it's really beautiful with gold trim around the edge. Let's see, I can open that up so you can see it a little bit better. That would be pretty at Christmas time, but really at any time, but it's just gorgeous. And it looks like it's about 1/4 inch wide. So this would be a good one to get for $8. Because the ribbons, to be honest, the ribbons are getting a little bit more pricey, so whenever you can get them at a bargain price, that's the way to do it. This one I just used recently on a card, and this was in the 24-25 annual catalog. So this one was $8.50, and it's reduced to $5.95. And this is Pretty Peacock and Gold ribbon. It's like a woven ribbon. Really pretty. The gold is woven right in with the pecan fibers, or whatever that is. Not pecan. Peacock. Pretty Peacock. All right, I love this ribbon, and the color really isn't showing it justice there, but it's just lovely. And it ties really well, too. It's very flexible. It's not stiff. It ties a nice bow. This one, I think, was in the Christmas catalog or the holiday catalog a couple of years ago, maybe 2 years ago, with that religious set. I can't remember the name of it. It is Night of Navy and Gold flecked ribbon. It's 1/2 inch wide, also very easy to tie, but really nice like to do a wraparound with. And that was $9 and it's reduced to $8.10. So I know $8.10 sounds like an odd amount, but basically they pick a percentage that they're going to reduce certain things, and whatever the percentage comes out. So they don't do it like the stores where they reduce it to, like $9.99 or something with an even number. They just reduce it by the percentage. Okay, this one might be a little weird. So this was the Hooray for Surprises set, which has some really good sentiments in it, but unfortunately that sold out. And the only thing that's available now are the dies. So the dies, if you remember, have these little tab things on them because you could partially cut them, and that's why they're kind of, I don't know what the word is there, but they've got little spots where they're not cut. They're like perforations. All right, so they're perforated. That's a good way to put it. So this one and this one and this one and this one, you could put down on a card, and then the person had to peel it back and open it. You could still do that with a card, though. You could cut this out, and you could absolutely put it on a card. But then they have the hearts, and they even have the little perforated dot hearts. They have the flowers, they have the greenery, they have whatever you want to call this, whether it's a flower or a starburst, and they have a small flower. So it might be worth it to you to get it just to have the heart dies. All right, and also nothing that says that you couldn't cut this out and then cut off the little whatever, but you've got a nice heart there. That's an outline. And this you could probably do something with that in relation to like a border or something like that. So that has been reduced from $32 to $12.85. So if that interests you at all, that's definitely a good price. All right, let's keep on going. Oh my gosh, such a favorite this was for me. And I have to find, in doing this transfer of videos, I've been seeing some of my own videos that, to be honest with you, I never watched them from start to finish, and that I didn't even remember some of the cards that I made, and I was like, oh, that's so pretty. Oh, I made that. That looks so nice. I got a little carried away. Okay, so this is only the hybrid embossing folder is available. The stamp set is not, and that's kind of sad. However, the hybrid embossing folder is really cool. So let's say you have another ocean set or a fish set, and you know there's one that's going to come along. You can just use this as a background, and it's beautiful. But this big 3-round piece here will also cut out those sand dollars. So you've got them to use on a card if you want to. You can cut out all of these things. You can cut out all of these things. So without the stamps, you can still do some pretty neat things. And this was one of the cards that I made that I had kind of forgotten that I made. So I used the envelope punch board and some Retired Designer Series paper to create an envelope for a slimline card. And I kept it pretty basic. I used crumb cake, and I think this was pecan pie. And then I used this is crumb cake as well, and this is what you can get cut out from the dies. So it was just a very, very plain Jane kind of card, but very impressive, very nice. Doesn't cost any extra postage because this is basically your legal size, like all of your junk mail comes in, basically. All right, so even though you can only have the hybrid embossing folder, that's both of these things. That's what a hybrid embossing folder means. So it's not an embossing folder and dies. They always come together, okay? So it's a pretty good deal, I think, even without the stamp set. This one I think I did something with not too long ago. This is called the Leaf Collection. It's a background stamp. You could ink this up and stamp it in a super light color and just have it as a background, or you could use your sponge daubers, which I think is what I did, and color them in all different colors or different shades of green or fall colors. So it's been reduced to $10. So this is just one large stamp that you just put on the largest stamp block that we sell. For people who don't have the largest stamp block, I have suggested to them that they put it down on a surface that it will stick to, and then put the paper on top of that. If you don't like doing that, I know people have taken their stamp case and used that as a block. You just have to be careful because the stamp case is flexible, whereas the blocks are not. All right, so again, that's a nice thing to have in your collection, I would say. There's really not too many more. I'm surprised we're getting through this kind of quickly. All right, so this is another one of those same types of background stamps. Only this one has leaves, it has flowers, it has little specks, and I think I did something with this recently as well. This is called Botanical Beauty, maybe I used this when I was in Florida, and it's been cut in half, reduced from $24 to $12. So background stamps are just always great, but you could also just make this a card front. And then you can't beat it. You've stamped once, you make it a card front, and then you put a label on it with your sentiment, and you are good to go. It's like making your own designer series paper. Same thing for the leaf collection background. This one, oh my gosh, I loved this bundle so much. So much I love this bundle. All right, the stamp set has been reduced from $20 to $12, and the dies have been reduced from $34 to $20.40. This is the one that made the little crate, and I actually took it and turned it into a three-dimensional crate by zhuzhing it up and doing some different things to it, and I have a video somewhere that shows that. It's got the hands, which I know were weird, but there was a reason for the hands. They were actually garden gloves that you could have like sort of in the picture. So this is one of those ones where I will caution you that if on the last chance list, sorry, I'm talking fast, they have the bundle, do not buy the bundle. Do your math, all right? But you're going to see that the dies are $20.40, where they used to be $34, and the stamp set is reduced from $20 to $12. So even with 10% off, this is cut in half. You don't want to buy the bundle. You see what I'm saying? Don't buy the bundle. But this, I just loved this set. It was just so cool. And the idea was that the different things like the poinsettias for Christmas, or just these floral images, or the pumpkins and the sunflowers would sit inside the crate. They were so pretty. What a great set to have for fall. And obviously the poinsettias are not for fall, they're for Christmas, and this could be used for spring. So this is another one of those sets that I'm going to tell you is extremely versatile because you could use it for multiple seasons. Okay? Next, this one, oops, lost my rubber band. This one I have hardly used at all, and I was so annoyed at myself. But now that I see that it's on the last chance list, I can use it. So here's how it works for demonstrators. Demonstrators don't want to. I'm not saying they can't. There's no rule. But demonstrators generally don't want to make a video showing you how to use something that you can't buy. It just makes sense, right? So I thought that I couldn't do anything else with this, even though it is about autumn. I thought there were ways I could use it for spring or some fun things I could do with it. But as long as it's on the last chance list, that means it is available and you can buy it. So I may do something with this yet, just because I didn't. And then it comes with dies. And the dies, aside from cutting out the obvious, the cups and the pie and the donuts and everything else, they have words that you can cut out that come out as a word in script. You know what I'm saying? So it'll come out as an actual word. So not just, and they don't cut out this, it's something different. So you could have, let me see what I'm trying to read backwards and upside down. This one says pumpkin. This one says cocoa. This one says nothing's better than, and that's when you would put like nothing's better than autumn, eggnog, peppermint, cider, whatever. Oh, and I think this one says cider. Oh, I don't know. No, that's cocoa. Oh, apple. This one says apple. And this one says, spice, S-P-I-C-E. Yep, that says spice. And this one says, I think it says season. Is that a word here too? Maybe not. I'm not. Yes. So this one says season. But they don't cut out those words. These are for stamping. These are for cutting out. I hope that you understand what I'm saying. Okay, so that one, for the whole bundle, is $47.50. So that one has not been reduced separately. I'm not quite sure why. I'll double check on that and make sure that I'm telling you the truth, because sometimes I get things mixed up. I know it's hard to imagine, right? Looking for another rubber band just to keep these together. But I think that's what it said. I don't think they were being sold separately. Maybe because they're not reducing them. I really don't know. Stampin' Up just doesn't let me in on their decisions. What can I tell you? So these two, here's an example. These two were part of a mega bundle. I chose just to buy this one. And then later on, what happened here? Later on, after seeing what one of my team members did with this and what other people did with it, I was like, okay, fine, I have to have it. You know how that goes. And then ask me if I used it. Nope, I did not. So, you know, sometimes you do have to be careful, and I advise people trying to get this put together so that it's still readable. I don't know exactly what happened to it, but okay. So I didn't use that one. I used this one quite a bit. I had a whole video devoted to just this one. It also came with some beautiful paper, and the paper, by the way, is carrying over. I forget what it's called right now, but it's carrying over. So you can get this bundle, which comes with the dies, and the dies cut out some things that are not on here, just like they typically do. So it's not been reduced, but it's on last chance. It's $33. Wait, it can't be, because $33, it would be more than that for the bundle, I think. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure about that. I'm going to have to check on that one. I'm going to have to put that aside as one to check on, because I think I might not be telling you the truth there. I would think that a bundle would have been like at least in the 40s, if not in the 50s. So that might not be right, or it was reduced and it's $33. The Countryside Birdhouse, that one has been reduced, and this is the same deal. So this is kind of an interesting one, okay? So they have I said don't buy the bundle, all right? The dies are $28, reduced from $32, and the stamps are $12, reduced from $20, so that's $40.88. The only bundle that's still available being sold as a bundle is in French, and it's $46.75. Now, sometimes, if, let's say, the only stamp set that was available is in French, and you just love all these images, and you have plenty of stamps at home that say, hoping you had the best day ever, happy birthday, and hello friend, because those are only 3 sentiments, I would buy it in French, because you're not going to use those anyway. Maybe you'll meet someone, you know, from French Canadian or something. I buy some French stamp sets because I have lots of French Canadian people in my place in Florida. And last year, like a Valentine's Day, I bought a French Valentine set so that they could make Valentines in their own language, which makes a lot of sense. All right, so that is clearly reduced. This one, I've got to check that out. I would check it for you on my iPad right now, only I'm using my iPad because my computer did something. This is the Wildly Flowering or Wildflower Design set. Okay, so this one is interesting. This is exactly what I was just talking about. It's reduced from $22 to $11, but it's only in French. So you're missing out, if you get the French, on 3 sentiments. Although thank you is probably merci. Who doesn't understand that, right? Merci beaucoup. That's about all I speak in French. And then you've got these really pretty designs and floral images there. And the dies, are reduced from $33 to $13.50, which is a pretty amazing reduction. So here's where the thing is. So these 4 dies here are really meant to cut out just those things. But for $27.90, if you decided you didn't want the stamp set and you didn't care about those, get these 3 dies for $27.90 because they're amazing label dies and background dies. So that's just a thought. If I were, if it were me and I couldn't have all of it, I would do that. All right, $13. It just, for the stamp set is cheap, and what did I just say, for the dies is cheap as well. So that's a good bargain. That one I'm checking up on. All right, and there are just 4 more left, and then we're done. This one I did something with when I was in Florida. It's a cute little set. You kind of have to like it. It's quirky. It's definitely for the book lover. You've got the stamp that says from the library of, though, if you're a person who likes to stamp your name in your books. Just a funny quick story. My aunt, who passed away a couple of weeks ago, well, on Mother's Day, we've been kind of working a little bit at cleaning out her house. Her daughter and son-in-law are doing most of it, but I've been there a couple of times too. And looking through things, she had those name and address labels that you get when you make donations to St. Jude's or the Shriners, and she did all of that. She had those labels in every single thing she owned. And if anybody gave her a gift, ever, she had her address label on the bottom of the gift, if it was a statue or something like that, and the name of the person who gave it to her. I mean, everything was labeled, everything. She would have loved this from the library of. She would have loved this. So this one's got some cute sentiments, all right? This is great if you're a person who keeps track of the books that you read. I know it says you're a solid whatever, but let's just say you do keep a book log. You could use this star stamp, just cover that up with tape and rate the books that you read. That would be really neat. You could use these to write the names of books that you'd like to read. I just made some cute cards and bookmarks with them, and that is available online. The dies, again, are a little weird. This die has nothing to do with the stamp that's on here. It literally just cuts out a book, and you could do kind of like the leather technique, which I can show you at some point, and it would make the book look like leather. And then this literally cuts out like the side of one of these books. That's what this is, the pages side. And this one, I think, it's upside down, so I can't see what it is. I think it did something similar, and then this one was to hang this little ribbon from. It was like a little tassel or a little ribbon that you would hang off of something, maybe the bookmark if you made a bookmark. Like I said, they're a little strange. I had to play with them a while, and I really didn't get the opportunity to use all of them. I think I used most of them, though. Uh-oh, what happened? I lost one in there. Okay, so this one you can see looks like the side of the book, the pages. And this one, oh, okay, so this one is actually a thing that you can cut to make a fringe if you want to. It's got, yeah, I think it was a fringe. Check out Pinterest. There's lots of things on there because I don't think I used this one, but honest to God, I can't remember. But that video is up on YouTube. It's probably gone right now from this video, from Facebook rather, because everything that was done in February and March that I didn't get copied really quick got deleted. All right, but it's cute. It's definitely for the book lover, for sure. But it is reduced. Oh, they've got the stamp set in French, sorry, $28.25, and the dies are $14. So I don't, again, that one's kind of quirky, and it's definitely not for everybody, but I thought I'd show it to you anyway. Next is, oh, I love this one too, and when I was in Florida, I made some beautiful cards with this. That would have been like maybe in February, maybe even March, and I showed some different techniques for coloring using the blending brushes and other ways that you could color them. So you've got this big rose stamp, and then some greenery, and then a smaller rose, and then you've got 3 sentiments. All right, and it comes with dies, and the dies will cut out the big rose, and it cuts out the small rose, and it cuts out this greenery, but then it also cuts out some greenery that you wouldn't even need to have the stamps for. So I would just point that out. And why don't I have the thing that says what this is? Stippled roses. I've got to check that out and see. Maybe it's sold out since I made the pile. All right, so I have to check on that one and get back to you. Pocket Thoughts. All right, this was a really neat set. I did some stuff with that. I really kind of liked it. I like the cupcakes the most, to be honest with you, and this for a graduation card. The ring is kind of a different thing, and you could do some different types of things with that. The dies are kind of like the big winners here, okay? The dies, okay, so the stamp set's not available anyway. The stamp set sold out. The dies make pockets. So if you are a junk journaler or a journaler, or you just like to have pockets on your cards for some reason, this one right here holds a gift card perfectly. This one holds something smaller. I thought, maybe even the idea was to put a ring on a card in there as like a proposal or something. I don't know, just sounded kind of interesting. This one is much smaller, so it won't hold a gift card, but it would hold a small note, and it could be really cute. So there's a lot that you can do with those if you use your imagination. So no, the stamps are not available, but the dies are reduced from $31 to $21.70. And then the last one, which I really did think was cute, and I didn't get to play with it enough. This one is called One More Year. It was in the January to April mini, and this one, again, I don't have anything written for this one, but I know it's in there, unless it really wasn't reduced, which is possible. They're not always reduced, in which case it's $24, but I will double check on those and put something in the comments to let you know, because these 3, I guess I'm not so sure about. So that, I think, is all of what I wanted to bring to you in terms of that, and just a reminder, don't buy the bundle, check the math and make sure that you're not saving more money, even with the 10% off on the bundle. Don't buy the bundle if the stamp and the dies are going to be cheaper separately, okay? So I talked about moving things over to my YouTube channel, and I don't even know how many videos I have over there now, but I've had about 300 visits, 300 people viewing them, which doesn't tell me if they, well, it does tell me, but I haven't checked yet. I don't know if they just watch for 10 minutes, a few minutes. A lot of people watch videos for a short period of time, or they skip to the end to see if there's a picture of the cards finished, and that's all fine. It really is. You have to do what works for you. Sometimes if there's something really important, like in the middle of the video, I will kind of make a point of saying, make sure you check out this or that. But otherwise, whatever people want to do is fine. So I'm going to ask, though, because I'd like to try to build that YouTube channel, and in order to build a YouTube channel, you need to have subscribers. I want to be clear about the fact that subscribing does not mean that you will get all kinds of notifications unless you click on the bell that says you want notifications. So subscribing does not mean that I will ever bother you, all right? If you leave a comment on one of my videos and I want to say thank you, I'll say thank you in a comment. I won't be calling you, I won't be emailing you, none of that will happen. But subscribers are important because at some point I can actually make a little bit of money, and it is a little bit, but if I recommend something to you that, let's say I have a tool that Stampin' Up! Doesn't sell, like the envelope punch board, or I've recommended a certain trimmer for the people who like the baby trimmer, but you can't get that. Those kinds of things, I would do what's called an affiliate link, but you can't do that if you have, 10 subscribers. They won't do it for you. So I'm hoping that you will not only subscribe to my channel, but that you will give me a thumbs up, that you will maybe make a comment, because all of those things count on how much people are shown my videos. All right, without searching for me as 11 Lakes Stamper, it may not ever come up if someone is just looking for Stampin' Up! Cards or something like that. They'll have someone that has 10,000 subscribers. Their name will come up long before mine does. So if you could just help me out in that way, I would really, really appreciate it. So it's 11 Lakes Stamper on YouTube, just my business name, 11 Lakes Stamper. This group, 11 Lakes Stamper Creatives on Facebook, and I come to you every Wednesday night at 7. It's very rare for me to do a video where I just talk at you and show you things without doing some crafting. That doesn't happen often, maybe once or twice a year. And if you choose to shop for anything tonight, don't forget the 50% off, buy one, get one 50% off on all suites. So take a look through the catalog, but many of the suites are online as well, so look online. And if you just search suites, or if you get online, again, I wish I could show you on my iPad, if you just get into www.rcolosino.stampinup.net and click on shop, that will open up the catalog and the website for you, and you can see both online exclusives, whatever you want. But I think if you just put in suites, it'll show you all the suites, and that will be a great way to see which ones are on sale. All right, thank you so much for putting up with me. Hi, Mary Kay, how are you? And I can't always see who's watching unless they comment, unless I stand up and look at the camera, and I'm about to stand up. So thank you very much for watching, and I hope some of you catch it on the replay, and I'll see you a week from tonight. Take care and good night.